We will move into Chancellor reports. Chancellor?
Yes, thank you. The first thing I'd like to do is take a point of personal privilege and ask you to join me in welcoming Dr. Angelica Garcia, the new president for Berkeley City College.
All right. Angelica. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Feels good to be home. Thank you.
Yes, so Dr. Garcia is very connected to not only the Berkeley community, but is an Oaklander herself and has extensive experiences in really all three segments of public education. That includes the higher education system baccalaureate granting four-year institutions, as well as the secondary institutions, K-12, as well as the community colleges. So I'm just really thrilled, really excited about the contribution she will make, the talent she brings to the Peralta Community College. I think Berkeley City College and the Peralta Community College District really scored when we attracted such talent in Dr. Angelica Garcia. So please join me in welcoming her to our Peralta family. I'd also like to take a point of personal privilege to thank Dr. Stacy Shears. There was a small amount of time, that was a little bit of a gap, and Dr. Stacy Shears didn't hesitate to step up and really join the leadership team and support Berkeley City College by acting as the acting president for Berkeley City College. And she made major contributions to our executive team. And as a matter of fact, I think gave the other presidents a little bit of a run for their money in terms of the kinds of reports she was turning in. So David said he had to up his game.
Thank you.
So anyway, thank you, Dr.
My pleasure.
All right, yeah, the Berkeley Community College District students and community, as well as Peralta Community College District, is lucky to have that kind of a contribution, and we appreciate it. The next thing I'd like to focus on or highlight for you is that you have in the Chancellor's update a couple of pieces of information around the COVID-19. There are two important things that I'd like to address. One, the passage of the Families First Coronavirus Response Act and the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Securities, or better known as CARES Act. They both have been signed into law. They both have implications for the Peralta Community College District. The first one, the Family Leaves Act, has implications for providing additional sick leave and additional weeks of unpaid expanded family medical leave. And that is something that has been incorporated and implemented in our processes at PCCD. And that information has been communicated to the faculty and staff and community at large. The second is the Coronavirus AIDS, Relief, and Economic Securities Act. Peralta Community College District stands to receive probably about $7 million. About half of that has to be used, or not about, half of that must be used for direct allocation to students. We have processes in place for that allocation, but we are not in receipt of the funds yet. So we are expecting that, and we are hoping to be able to get the funds and be able to make a commitment to putting the monies out to the students before they leave in a timely fashion, but we are not sure when the federal government will make the allocation. And even if they don't make the allocation, we are considering front-loading the resources or a percentage of the resources in order to make sure we're serving the students before they leave. But we have to at least know if we're in the position, if it makes financial sense to do that. If we're in the position, we have to wait for the May revise, which will come out on Thursday. And there are lots of different things that are going on. One of the things that you heard in the classified Senate's report is they they heard different pieces of information and wanted to know if there would be implications for layoffs or reductions in force. You heard it in the PFT comment when they were asking about when they indicated that they heard that from the LAO office that there could be as much as a 22% cut in Prop 98 apportionment, and that's not all. The other part of that news is that it could also be a reduction in categoricals as well. We don't know how that's going to play out, and as well as them trying to consider whether when they'll make the allocation. So for an example, we normally get appropriations in June. We're not sure that they're going to stick to that same calendar. We don't know. So there are lots of different things, and so we're not in the position to say whether we are able to front load the resources yet, but we will have more information to be able to make that decision soon. As you heard from the Senate report, we have been working in order to figure out how we will do the instruction in the fall. We sent out a message that says, look, primarily we will be planning to have a fall schedule remotely, and that is so that people can make their plans and get ready. And we also can put in place some support structures in order to support faculty that need training in offering online instruction. As well, we know that there are some courses that need to have an on-site attendance because students need to have access to the lab experience. And so we are working through trying to make sure that that is possible using social distancing. But we are still clear that there may be some classes that simply is just not possible, and those classes would have to be canceled. One of the things you need to know is that we definitely tried to keep in mind and make the decisions in a way that completely allowed students to make the most of what they've already taken and not lose credit for a class that they've almost gotten to the end before, or they had gotten halfway through before COVID-19 hit. In terms of the refunds, you saw that we had an announcement that students would get refunds depending on how they paid for the fees that they paid. If they paid with a credit card, it'll be put back on their credit card. If they paid with cash, then they receive a check. Or if they paid with other means, they would receive a check. And if they didn't pay, they won't get a refund. It'll just be taken, the expense will be taken off of their account. Those numbers do change. We're looking at probably at about $1 million right now in refunds that go with the EW. And that we made it as simple as possible that if the student requests an EW, then they automatically get the refund. They don't have to add any additional paperwork. They don't have to make any other applications. Well, our guideline was to do it as simply as possible. It's probably a little over $1 million now as the numbers continue to come in. But that's the scope of what we're doing. And then, of course, we're working out the transitioning to return to campuses. We don't know what's going to come from either the local health agency or from the state with regard to the shelter in place. We see that there is, quite frankly, across the nation and on the state level pressure to lift the shelter in place. And so I'm not quite sure, what is ultimately going to prevail. If a shelter in place stays, then we plan to schedule that accommodates that. If a shelter in place is lifted, but there may be it's not going to be something where all of a sudden everybody shows back up on campus. There will be transitioning to be done. The Chancellor's Office recognizes that, the state recognizes that, and they're developing protocols and guidelines for us to do that. The other thing I'll tell you is that as a result of the shelter in place and us being gone, there are, we have had some, some acts of vandalism on the campuses, whether it's toward a car, or broken windows, or one of the construction sites was brought in and they had to bring in their insurance around that. So we've paid attention to that and added increase of staffing for the security. And it's probably at the cost of about $12,000 a month. We expect that that's probably going to be a few months, but prepared for it to go further if it needs to, depending on what happens with the order. And with that concludes my Chancellor's report. And now I would like to ask the portion of the Chancellor's Report on that. And now I would like to ask the college presidents if they would give their report. And I think I'm going to start with College of Alameda this time because we typically have Tim go last. So Tim, you get to go first.
Oh, thank you. Greetings from 55 miles south of Alameda. Tonight I have two items for you. One is building on what our student body president mentioned. Is last week we began our grab and go meal distribution, which is in partnership with World Kitchen and Eat, Play, Learn, similar to Laney College and Merritt College. So this is the first endeavor these two organizations have had onto the island. And so we're in just yesterday, Monday, at our last distribution. We had about, am I gone?
You're there.
Oh, good. Okay. Sorry. We had 500 meals distributed yesterday on Monday. And we'll have our next distribution tomorrow. So I'll be on campus tomorrow handing out meals. It's one of those things where it's great to see the public. They're so appreciative of anything we can do. And this is one of the small items we can do as a community organization for our community to give them some nutritious meals and partnering. And also tomorrow we'll start giving out a couple fresh fruit and vegetable baskets in addition to the meals. So that's been a really great thing for the island. Great response. And then secondly, on more non-COVID avenue is COA under the leadership of our Vice President of Instruction and our Guided Pathways team has been selected to join the second cohort of the State Guided Pathways Initiative program. So about 2 years ago, there was a first cohort of 20 colleges. And so now we'll be in a second cohort of about 20 more. The official announcement will come out in June, but we had the Zoom call and we're officially in. So I wanted to tell everyone as soon as I got the news. So we're very, very excited to be joining that second cohort and really pushing forward with our guided pathways work, which this year at COA just got such traction. Our faculty and our staff are phenomenal. They really infused equity into our guided pathways work. And so I'm really excited to see where it goes next year and especially being part of the second cohort. So those are my two brief reports and hope everyone has a good day. Good evening. I'll keep seeing you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Karras. Then may I ask Dr. Johnson from Merritt College?
Good evening, everyone. Just a couple items to report from Merritt College. First, Salesforce has partnered with Merritt and other select community colleges to identify talented students for their Pathfinder training program, which for the uninitiated is a challenging technical curriculum that can result potentially in jobs at Salesforce and other companies like Deloitte. The program nomination process, it's solely faculty driven. And one of our esteemed faculty members, Ms. Carrie Maltzby, identified 6 deserving and enterprising students to compete for a spot in the program. And we are proud to announce that of the 6 she nominated, 4 were accepted into the program. So Ms. Maltzby plans to continue coaching them and connecting them with Salesforce mentors as these students make their way toward well-paying, hopefully well-paying professional positions in the fields. We want to congratulate them on that. I also want to take a moment to recognize the incredible job that our faculty and classified professional staff are still doing to support the institution and the students during this time. But I want to call special attention to an area that sometimes is overlooked, and that's our student accessibility services. So SAS is continuing to provide first-rate student support to our learners, and in alignment with that commitment, they hosted the annual Oakland Unified School District High School and Community Partners Outreach event on April 29th, Wednesday, April 29th. So I just want to take a moment to offer thanks and appreciation to a few people, and I hope I don't miss anyone. Ms. Frances Moy, Mary Sidio, Ron Nelson, Jack Smith, Mitra Mafidi, and Reagan Pruitt for the amazing job that they're doing. And also just a special note of thanks and congratulations goes out to Barbara Demopoulos, who is retiring at the end of the term. And finally, I'm always excited. We have more student athletes. So Merritt is thrilled to have 3 more student athletes who received full ride scholarships and 3 more athletes who've received partial scholarships to 4-year universities. So I just want to shout them out real quick. DeMar Johnson, track, has signed his letter of intent to attend CSU Northridge, while Brayford Morris has agreed to take his talents to San Jose State, and Daniel Besselo will attend Azusa Pacific University in the fall to continue his academic career. So they're all getting full ride scholarships in track. And there were 3 other student athletes who are getting partial scholarships: Marco Enchindia, who is also going to San Jose State, Tavon Peace, who's going to UC Santa Cruz, and finally Adam Wong, who's headed to my alma mater, UC Berkeley. So congratulations to all. We're very proud of you.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Johnson. Dr. Gilkerson with Laney College.
Thank you, Chancellor and Board of Trustees and the Peralta Community College, everybody out there in the atmosphere. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to provide a report on behalf of Laney College. As outlined in my board report that was submitted, we continue to do the good work, similar to the other colleges in our district, really supporting students through food distribution, computers, emergency grants, and the like. And so I join my colleague, David Johnson, in really thanking those who are actually on the front line supporting all of our students in all of the efforts that they're doing across our institution. I'm pleased to share that Laney College received news that the National Science Foundation awarded an advanced technological education grant to Skyline College, for which Laney College is a co-PI on that. As a principal investigator are Leslie Blakey from our biomanufacturing program. Over the last several years, the Laney College biomanufacturing program has been working collaboratively with Skyline College and other community college programs in the region to develop the supply chain bioscope, which provides supplies for high school biotech programs, and that have been preparing Laney College students. So it's an opportunity for us to actually provide all these things directly to high school students and to continue that important pathway. This grant will expand and enhance our current efforts and be directly supporting and promoting improvements in the education of science and engineering technicians and strengthen our regional work together. So I assume that both Dr. Garcia and Dr. Stanback Stroud were pleased to know that we continue to collaborate with our colleagues at Skyline College and the San Mateo Community College District. So I'm really pleased to announce that good news. And I want to move to my next, let's see, sorry. I wanted to take a moment to make a couple of statements tonight, just on behalf of, not on Laney College, but I wanted to make a statement on behalf of the faculty, classified professionals, and administrators who represent the Asian Pacific American community here in the Peralta Community College District. Over 20 million Asians are in the United States, and this represents more than 48 ethnicities, over 300 spoken languages, various socioeconomic statuses, immigration histories, cultures, and religions. One is not born Asian American, one becomes one. I think it's important for me, and certainly with my distinct and background in history, I shake as I speak because I don't feel like I often am the best representative for the AAPI community. But I will say to you, the racism and xenophobia that has been present in our community has certainly been on our mind. And I say this as we stand in solidarity with other communities of color that are impacted by COVID-19 and the pandemic, that this is not something new that happened. It is not a new normal. These are things that have happened consistently amongst our communities, and it's important to make sure that that statement is before you all. And what I wanted to do to explain that is just to say that I really appreciated Israel's comment. A group of us got together, and I want to thank Scott Hoshida, our professional development coordinator and English faculty at BCC, and Chung-Wai Chum, the business director at COA, as well as Chuen Chan, retired dean from Laney College. Myself got together with a group of folks to actually coordinate an Asian Pacific Heritage event across the colleges to really show solidarity and have a conversation and dialogue. So our panelists were 2 students, Israel Kazan from COA, Liam Zhu from BCC, and we had Pauline Pang Sagara, our financial aid specialist from Merritt College, and Dr. Vanson Nguyen from math faculty at College of Alameda served as panelists. We watched a video that showed many of news clips and a rap video music style that really reflected the hate crimes and violence and the xenophobia that's happening in our community, and had a really rich discussion, always focused on not only our own experiences, but on what we actually can be doing as a district. And I want to say tonight, on behalf of the group, I want to thank the Chancellor and the board for their leadership in both resolutions that are before you tonight. The affirmation of our unwavering commitment to student success and equity is important as we continue to serve students on the front lines. And certainly the denouncing the xenophobia and anti-Asian sentiments arising due to the fear of COVID-19 pandemic. This is something that the folks who were in these discussions said, we really want the board to make a resolution. And so it is heartening. And I got to tell them that, yes, the board is taking action. And so I thank the Chancellor and the trustees for bringing this forward. We stand together. We fight ignorance with education. Hate is a virus, racism is a virus. I'm proud to serve in a minority serving institution in a district that has this. And so my thanks to you all tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gilkerson. And may I conclude with Dr. Angelica Garcia, the president of Berkeley City College.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Stanback Stroud, members of the Board of Trustees, my colleagues, esteemed faculty, classified professionals, our students, and community members. I'm absolutely honored and humbled to be joining you all this evening. And my comments this evening, I think, amidst President Gilkerson's comments, you know, in a true educator spirit, I started to think, okay, change the lesson plan. And what I want to offer is that President Gilkerson and the work in highlighting the collaborative nature that exists in this district to rise above the challenges and the barriers that sometimes present themselves before us in our institutions, that event just certainly signifies what it means to rise above, what it means to come together in community. And I think for me really exemplifies the very best of our district and something that I feel very proud to join this evening. I want to, you have my report, you have the report for Berkeley City College, but I want to take a moment to really just bring to your attention the resolution honoring the life and work of Joe Doyle. I did not have the pleasure of working with what sounds to be a remarkable human, someone who cared about the multimedia arts, who cared about the Berkeley City community, who cared about faculty and training and leadership and education. And the Academic Senate of Berkeley City College took a resolution honoring his legacy, his existence, and essentially their unwavering commitment to continue in the work in the spirit of his honor. In addition to that report, I want to highlight that the supporting students during this basic food needs is something that's becoming a pressing issue. And you heard from my colleagues all of the various efforts that are underway. Berkeley City College launched an opportunity for students to come and pick up groceries in every way possible so that they can support themselves and their families. And so we had over 100 students join last week. And our partners are the Berkeley Food Network. So students have the opportunity to come to our campus or to go to the location for the Berkeley Food Network. We continue to grow in supporting students and pivoting and adjusting, and look forward to continuing to provide students with their basic needs. Also just want to highlight this, that, you know, when you have student leaders who work in your career and transfer center, it's great when you can say that all of them were accepted to universities and institutions to model that for their peers. Every single one of them was accepted to UC Berkeley, and a few of them as far as Columbia University. And I think that just shows, again, the resistance, the persistence, the resilience of our students, the quality of the education that they're receiving with the faculty at Berkeley City College. And I wish all of the students, all of the graduates well. And just want to close, our student Max shared earlier that efforts were underway for the virtual commencements. So Berkeley City College, 7 p.m. on May 22nd. I would invite each and every one of you to join and participate in that. There will be a YouTube link that will be shared broadly, and it will start at 7 p.m. for broadcast, though you can watch it at any point in time. We are going to have students who are participating not only at Berkeley City College, but across the district, and I just invite you to attend all 4 of them. You can be at 4 different places now. That concludes my comments for this evening, and thank you very much. I'm incredibly honored to be joining this team.
Thank you, Dr. Garcia. Madam President, that concludes the Chancellor's report.
Thank you for that, and a special welcome, Dr. Garcia.